I got my first real paycheck and I literally screamed. Stood in my kitchen, phone in hand, just screamed. Because I had never seen a number that big with my name attached to it. I thought, okay, this is the turning point. I am going to be fine. 3 weeks later, I had $200 left and no explanation for where it went. That moment broke something in my brain. The paycheck was real, the hours were real, and somehow none of it added up to feeling okay. So I started asking why, and what I found is that almost everyone in their 20s is feeling this, and almost nobody is talking about it honestly. So let's do that. There's this idea called the arrival fallacy. The belief that once you hit a certain milestone, the stress disappears. Once I graduate, once I get the job, once I'm making real money. I believe that completely. Then I graduated, got the job, started making real money, and felt more financially anxious than I did as a broke student. Here's why. The moment your income goes up, your life quietly upgrades around it. Better apartment, real groceries, saying yes to dinners you used to skip. None of it feels like overspending. It just feels like finally living normally. That's lifestyle creep. It doesn't show up as one bad decision. It shows up as 100 small, reasonable ones that collectively eat every raise you ever get. Now add student loans. I have friends leaving school with $60, $70, $80,000 in debt, expected to start repaying within months of graduating, right when they're also figuring out rent, utilities, health insurance, and what a deductible even means. Nobody prepares you for all of it landing at once. And the part that made me feel genuinely sick when I learned it, minimum payments are often structured so that for the first several years, most of what you pay is interest. The balance barely moves. You can be completely responsible, never miss a payment, and still feel like you're running in place. That's not you doing something wrong. That's how the math was built. I have to talk about comparison because I think it's quietly destroying our generation's relationship with money. Someone on your timeline just posted a trip to Portugal. Someone else moved into an apartment that looks like a Pinterest board. Another person is at a rooftop dinner that costs more than your weekly grocery budget. Your brain registers all of that as the norm, as what your life should look like right now. What it doesn't register is the credit card behind the Portugal trip, or the parents who covered the deposit, or that the person with the beautiful apartment panics every time rent week comes around. You're measuring your entire financial reality against other people's most curated moments. And that gap costs you literally, not just emotionally. It makes you feel behind. And when you feel behind, you spend to catch up, which puts you further behind. It's a loop, and social media is the engine running it. Here's something I didn't understand until it happened to me. Fixed costs feel completely different when they're entirely your problem for the first time. Before, money was flexible. You spent when you had it. But now, rent is due on the first no matter what. Phone, subscriptions, insurance, utilities, locked in every month. And the first few cycles are genuinely disorienting. Your paycheck hits and looks like a lot. Then taxes already came out. Then rent goes. Then the fixed stuff. Suddenly, you're looking at maybe a third of what you thought you had. The honest answer for where it went is nowhere surprising. It just went to being an adult, which is expensive in a way nobody warns you about. I want to say this clearly because too many of us are carrying unnecessary guilt about it. Entry-level pay has not kept up with what it costs to live. That is not a personal failing. Rent takes up a share of income that would have seemed absurd a generation ago. And the jobs most of us are starting in aren't paying more to reflect that. Budgeting better is useful, but it has real limits when the gap isn't behavioral. It's structural. So, what do you actually do? Name the forces working against you. Lifestyle creep, fixed cost shock, debt math, comparison spending. Seeing them clearly is how you stop being unconsciously controlled by them. Open the account. Look at the actual number. Anxiety makes you avoid it, but the number is almost always less catastrophic than what your imagination builds while you're looking away. Protect your margin. Even a small gap between income and expenses, consistently maintained, becomes something real over time. And stop measuring your life against people whose finances you cannot actually see. You don't know what it costs them. You don't know what's underneath it. Feeling broke in your 20s doesn't mean you're failing. It usually means you stepped into a system that wasn't designed to make this easy, without a manual. That's what this channel is for. If something clicked for you, tell me in the comments. I read every single one. And if you're new here, subscribe. This is what we do. We figure out the money stuff. Nobody actually sits down and explains. See you next week.